traditional lighting of the oil lamp.
For this ceremony, we'd like to call upon our chief guest, Mr. Lee, the National Director of Habitat for Humanity.
Mr. Jocelyn, Head of Overseas School of Colombo.
Ms. McQuillan, Head of Secondary School, OSC.
The Secretary General for COMUN 2019, Janet De Silva.
Under Secretary General, Varathi Alvis.
Co-Heads of Administration, Jeevanta Indruva and Mandri Amarasekar.
And finally, COMUN Faculty Advisor, Ms. Jasmine Bhattacharjee.
For the national anthem.
Surya
closing ceremony of the 25th session of Colombo United Nations. I am Yuji and this is Amina, who will be your masters of ceremony for tonight. It has been 3 intensive days of productive debate, and today we're here to conclude our event. We will first start off our celebration with our theme video.
To introduce our chief guest.
Good evening, everybody. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Lee this evening. He currently serves as the National Director of Habitat for Humanity in Sri Lanka. This is a voluntary social services organisation whose mission is to provide decent and affordable housing for people living in poor conditions across Sri Lanka. Habitat for Humanity is a global non-profit housing organisation which was founded in Georgia in the United States in 1976. It's currently working in nearly 1,300 communities across the United States and in more than 70 countries around the world. Having received his early education at St. Thomas Prep School and the Central College of Bandrawala, Mr. Lee began his working career at the Bartlett Group of Companies in 1983. Counting over 25 years of experience in the non-profit sector, in 1992, he joined World Vision. Prior to joining Habitat in Sri Lanka, Mr. Lee held the position of Senior Executive Manager Caritas in Sri Lanka and has been serving on a number of non-profit boards including the Lanka Evangelical Alliance and Development Services. We welcome Mr. Lee this evening to speak with us. I hope you enjoy the words that he shares, and I hope you have had a wonderful experience over the last 3 days in this 25th anniversary of the Model United Nations in Colombo. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McQuillan, for that introduction. Very good evening to all of you. Mr. Phil Jocelyn, Head of School of the Overseas School of Colombo. Ms. Claire McQuillan, Head of the Secondary School, also of the Overseas School of Colombo. Ms. Yasmin Bhattacharjee, Faculty Advisor, Colombo Model United Nations 2019. Mr. Jarek De Silva, Secretary General of the Colombo Model United Nations 2019, members of the Executive Committee and the Secretariat of COMUN 2019, chairs, presidents and vice presidents of the 6 committees of Colombo Model United Nations 2019, distinguished student delegates of the 25th sessions of the Colombo Model United Nations, both from here and also internationally. Also, the student advisors and coordinators from the participating schools, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. At the very outset, let me express my deepest appreciation to the Executive Committee of the Colombo Model United Nations 2019 for inviting me to be your chief guest at the culmination of the 25th sessions. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be here with you this evening. Especially heartening to see the multitude of enthusiastic young faces present today. And I have no doubt you have endured and successfully accomplished the goals and objectives of the 25th sessions over the last 3 days. What an opportunity you have had today as youth and young people to be part of such a global movement. Now, as I was preparing for this evening, I did some research and I realized that the Model United Nations is a platform where youth mentality in leadership, negotiations, and diplomacy is developed or formed in a model UN, which therefore makes the Model United Nations an academic simulation. I think those 2 words are very important, academic simulation of the UN, where participants play the role of delegates from across the world, and I believe there are many from our own country, to attempt to solve real global issues with the policies and with perspectives of your assigned countries and regions. It is a learning by doing method of studying the United Nations. And I believe in keeping with this overall mandate, you have deliberated and resolved, and no doubt have had the opportunity to make your voices heard on global issues of concern. I just wanted to focus on this specific word of academic simulation. I believe all of you are still in the ordinary level, advanced level realms. Am I right? Right? On the verge of maybe facing up to these examinations. You have deliberated on some of the most complicated topics, I would say. I was given a list of the committees and I realized that particularly General Assembly 3 and 4, freedom of press and the issue of impunity, and General Assembly 4, the militarization of the Arctic Circle, with special emphasis on competitive mineral extraction. What on earth have you been discussing? Very complicated topics, global topics. So it's an opportunity, as I said, that you have to look at some of the most complicated global issues at your level. What does it do to you? It opens up your world to areas that you wouldn't have normally thought of. Why? Because of your participation in this Colombo Model United Nations. Today's youth, I believe, I have come across young people who have no clue what's going on around them. Some of them are like you. If I ask them, what is the latest news in the country? No one will know. Because we have issues that are dominating our society in Sri Lanka today. Many, many issues. Most of which are good or bad? Bad. This world is a bad, mad, sad world. So is our country. And you can do something to change that. So here you are, open to the consciousness of the global issues that we are facing. The question will be, what can I do? What can you do about these complicated global issues? Well, you have discussed, you have deliberated, you argued, debated, you have put forward ideas. That's a lot of things that you're doing towards global issues. So you need to continue doing that. Second point in academic simulation. As I said earlier, you are all on the verge of facing your first major examinations in your academic career. And very likely, most of you will be successful and most of you will be thinking, leaving the shores of Sri Lanka, right? Is that the trend now? Yes, by all means. Go out to the world, pursue your academic dreams. It leads you to thinking about what you want to do in the world. So my second point is, this involvement, engagement in the Model United Nations gives you a pathway to your own destiny. Don't be another doctor, engineer, lawyer. Be an extraordinary person. Be a humanitarian. We need more and more of the do-gooders for others versus do-gooders unto themselves. So even though you want to be a doctor or an engineer, make that profession an extraordinary profession. I think this academic simulation also opens the path for you to your own destination. The first one is a more organizational, collective engagement in terms of addressing the global issues. The second one is a more individualistic goal that you can have. And thirdly, I want to say that, as I started by saying, we do have many issues on our own shores, in our own country. You are dealing with global issues. Have an inward-looking sense where you can also play a part in addressing the issues that we face in our own country. What is the latest topic that is dominating our discussions? Anyone? There are many. What is the latest? The hottest topic? India, Pakistan, neighbors, yes? Global issue. Implications to Sri Lanka as well. I am asking within the shores of Sri Lanka. Drugs. Okay? Sri Lanka is fast becoming the hub of the drug world. And connected to that, what is emerging? The executive wants to introduce the death penalty. So what's the position of the Colombo Model United Nations to the death penalty? Is there a position? Is there a position? Is it an issue for the United Nations? Is it an issue for the United Nations? It is. Why? What is it? It's an issue of human rights. The right to life and dignity. So, what I'm trying to say is we have issues that we are grappling with as a nation. And you and your movement can be an advocate, an influencer to the policy makers, to the decision makers in providing an alternative. So, dear friends, the theme for the 25th session of the Colombo Model United Nations 2019, Reconstituting Global Perspectives, therefore is a very timely one. Our hope is that the kind of idealism you have demonstrated during the 25th sessions, during the past 3 days, will be infectious and paired with tangible service will lead to some real change. I believe it was Margaret Mead who once said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world." Today, I represent the vision and mission of one organization founded on the same principles, Habitat for Humanity. Motivated by the vision that everyone deserves a decent place to live, Habitat began in 1976 as a grassroots organization, and as it was introduced, we work in over 70 countries, supporting millions of people to build or improve a place where they can call home. In close alignment with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, Habitat for Humanity firmly believes that investing in affordable housing equals the investing in the long-term sustainable development of the nation. We believe that the home is the key towards ending the cycle of poverty, providing safety and security for families, empowering women, promoting better health and hygiene, better education for the children, and employment opportunities which open the door to a world of opportunities for families in need. Globally as well as locally, Habitat for Humanity is known for its unique youth engaged program. And this is where I believe we can make a connection, which brings together youth volunteers from all walks of life to build homes, communities, and hope. With Habitat, you get to do more than just donate money to a cause. Volunteers get hands-on construction experience building a home and also have the satisfaction of knowing that their generosity and hard work results in a family in need being blessed with a place to call home. And I believe such volunteer engagements can also overcome ethnic, national, religious boundaries and can lead to reconciliation, tolerance, peace, and coexistence. We have been able to bring together over 12.5 million youth between the ages of 15 and 30 to volunteer, fundraise, advocate, and raise awareness on the need of decent housing. Since 2012, these youth volunteers have raised over $7.5 million in funds to help build houses and support more than 29,000 families across Asia Pacific. I believe, and all of us at Habitat believe, that now more than ever, it is imperative that the youth take on a more proactive role as advocates for social change, especially in the developing countries. Platforms such as the Colombo Model United Nations bring together some of the brightest minds of the next generation. This is the time for the birth of new ideas, for dialogue, planning and brainstorming innovative and radical ideas which can propel nation building. Development organizations such as Habitat for Humanity can benefit greatly from the innovative ideas of youth. And I invite you to join hands with us and share in our vision and mission while challenging us in our own organizational affairs. So, in conclusion, let me leave these three reminders once again. Pursue intensely your goals and objectives that you have set for yourselves during this 25th session. Persevere and endure this. Do not treat this as a one-off event. Be inspired by this simulation to choose your own destiny, that you can become an advocate, an influencer, and a change agent, globally and locally. And thirdly, always think globally, but also act locally. May I encourage you to keep the flames of your idealism burning. May you pursue your goals aggressively. And may you inspire those who follow you in making the Colombo Model United Nations vision a reality. Thank you and celebrate the evening.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Please remain on stage as we'll start our award ceremony. Starting off with the General Assemblies, we would like to call upon Mr. Jocelyn and the Undersecretary General, Bharathi August.
Awards are given to recognize the potential of delegates, but one must understand that it is sometimes very challenging to decide on who has the most potential. Whilst we congratulate those who have been recognized, those who must not lose heart. For there is always another day, another conference for you to reach out to the skies for recognition.
We'll first start with the first General Assembly, the Historical General Assembly 1.
We'd like to call upon the chairs, President Atiq Azmi, Vice President Santiago Agasuria, and Chair Sanjana Kumari. The award for the best FPS goes to Russian SFR.
The award for the best novice of HGA1 goes to the delegate of Eritrea.
The award for the second honorary mention goes to the delegate of Turkey.
The award for the first honorary mention goes to the delegate of the UK.
The award for the high commendation goes to the delegate of Egypt.
And finally, the Best Delegate Award of the Historical General Assembly 1 goes to the delegate of France. Thank you, chairs. You may now take your seats.
We will now be moving into the awards for the third General Assembly. Our chairs, President Haran Pereira, Vice President and Chair Mahima Fasala.
The award for the Best FPS Award goes to the delegate of Kosovo.
Delegate award goes to the delegate of Oman.
The second honorary mention goes to the delegate of Russia.
The delegate of UK.
The Higher Commendation Award goes to the delegate of China.
Best delegate of the General Assembly 3 goes to the delegate of Netherland. Thank you, chairs. Now we have the awards for the 4th General Assembly. Our chairs, President Aditi Randani and Vice President Rika Gunasarkar. The award for the best FPS goes to the delegate of Libya.
The Best Novice Award goes to the delegate of North Korea.
The award for the second honorary mention goes to the delegate of Netherlands.
The first honorary mention goes to the delegate of the USA.
The award for the high commendation goes to the delegate of Afghanistan.
And finally, the Best Delegate Award of the 4th General Assembly goes to the delegate of Yemen.
Thank you, chairs. The Best Crisis Delegation Award for the General Assemblies. The delegation which represents one country the best in terms of teamwork and also voicing their individual knowledge of policies. This award goes to the delegation of France.
And that concludes our awards for the General Assemblies. Thank you, Waraf. Now we would like to call upon the Secretary General for COMUN 2019 to hand out the Specialized Committee Awards. Mr. Johnson and Mr. Lee, please remain on stage.
We will begin with the awards for Group of 20. Our chairs, Krishan Dasanayaka and Vice President Kunchakeva. Best FPS goes to the representative of World Bank.
Honorary Mention Award goes to the representative of Tesla.
mention goes to the delegate of Japan.
And finally, the Best Representative Award of G20 goes to the delegate of USA. Thank you, chairs. Up next, we'll move on to the awards for the Presidential Council.
Our chairs, President Krisha Satwani and Vice President Ochile Reddy.
The award for the Best Green Paper goes to the Minister of European Affairs.
The award for the honorary mention goes to the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
The High Accommodation Award goes to the Minister of Interior Affairs.
The Best Minister Award goes to the Minister of Economic Development. Thank you, chairs. Up next, we have the awards for Security Council. Our chairs, President Prashant Fernando and Vice President Nanda Arora. The award for the best foreign policy statement goes to the delegate of Ukraine.
The Honorary Mention Award goes to the Delegation of UK.
The High Commendation Award goes to the delegate of Afghanistan.
And finally, the best delegate of the Security Council goes to the delegate of China. Thank you, Chairs. Up next, we have the awards for the Best Crisis Delegation Award for the SPECOMs. The delegation which represents one country the best in terms of teamwork and also voicing the individual knowledge of their policies. For this 25th session, our crisis awards are divided to specific delegates from different COMs. So, from the General Assembly, we have, my apologies. From G20, we have the delegate of Japan. From the Security Council, we have the delegate of the UK.
And from the Presidential Cabinet, the best delegate goes to Afghanistan. And finally, we have the awards for international press. Our head, Hussein Yusufali. Paul Head, for deputy heads, apologies. Punish Movember and Lyric Conductor.
The honorary mention goes to ALJ from GA3.
Al Jazeera. The high recommendation goes to Sinhua from PC.
The Best Cooperation Award goes to the Associated Press.
The award for the best journalist goes to Lemond of SGA1.
our awards for the specialized committees. Thank you, Mr. Lee and Secretary General. You may take your seats.
Thank you, Mr. Jostley. We would now like to call upon the co-heads of administration, Mandri and Jeevanta, to introduce the admin awards.
The second honorary mention.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, delegates, admins, journalists, to the 25th session of Colombo Model United Nations. It has been a very long day for all of us, so I'll keep it short and sweet. So 8 months ago, I've had the pleasure to work with a lovely Secretariat Committee, Janik, Jeevanta, and Bharat, and it has been a pleasure to work with them. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for them today, so I'm super thankful and grateful to all three of you. To my dear EXCO, such amount of talent comes from each and every one of you. It's been a pleasure and an honor to work with each and every one of you, and I've loved every minute of it. To my wonderful, amazing, dedicated admin team, thank you for everything. It's been a joy to work with each and every one of you. Great to know each and every one of you, your fears, dislikes, hobbies, the reassuring smiles I get, the countless amount of hugs, the colorful personalities I've gotten to meet. It's wonderful. The competition this year has been really, really tough, and it's been a very tough decision on my co-head and my deputy heads of administration plus the SEC. And I think we've come to the right conclusion. The last thing that I'd like to end with is thank you for everyone who's been a part of my MUN journey. I stand here today ending my MUN journey, and especially I'd like to thank my parents for supporting me through everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, good evening everyone again. Hope. Thank you admins for the name again. Okay, good evening everyone who's present here today for the 25th session of COMUN. It's been an honor to be the co-heads of admin in this conference. And yes, I take this opportunity to thank our faculty advisors for their continuous support and help us make decisions and come to conclusions. Also, I would like to thank Ms. Jasmine specifically for starting this conference. Continuous support for this Also, I would like to thank our dear EXCO. We inducted 6 months ago. We had interviews. It was so hard to select from. But yeah, thanks. Thanks for the help. Yeah, thank you. Also, thank you for our lovely admin team. Thank you for the sleepless nights and all the support you all gave from early morning today, all the 3 days and all support. Thank you. And lastly, I would like to thank my parents for the continuous support they gave in my admin career. Also, I would like to end my MUN career from this, and I'm so honored to end this being in the secretariat and being the co-heads of admin. Sorry. Thank you. Have a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Jiwan and Manji. Please remain on stage. Now we'd like to call upon Ms. McQuillan and the heads of administration for COMUN 2019 to hand out the Administrative Staff Awards.
The second honorary mention goes to Adil.
Goes to Tehani.
The High Accommodation Award goes to Leon.
Goes to Soraya! The award for Best Admin goes to Asha!
Thank you, Ms. Kopilan, Manjri, and Giovanna.
Now, we would like to call upon Dehan and Shakia to introduce the Community Service Award.
Good evening, everyone. This year, our primary partner for our community service project was the Foundation of Goodness. The Foundation of Goodness is a non-profit organization founded in 1999 by Kushal Gunasekara and is now a registered NGO in both the US and Sri Lanka. Its aim is to empower the less privileged and encourage people from all walks of life to have a chance to excel in life. This year we've collaborated with the Foundation of Goodness in the Essential School Supplies program, which aims to provide children from rural backgrounds the right tools to give them the best possible start to their education. We would like to start by thanking Gateway College, the British School in Colombo, Colombo International School, the Elizabeth Moyer School, and the Overseas School of Colombo for their generous donations. With a grand total of over 700 bags, I think all these schools deserve a huge round of applause. Now, my Deputy Head of Community Service, Shakia, will explain exactly how we formulated the criteria for the award.
Calculation, we decided to divide the number of bags by the number of students in secondary school to calculate the ratio of bags raised per student in each respective school. The reason for the structure of the formula is because we decided to take into account how the various populations of each school would affect the final calculated value. Note that the awards were determined from the schools that gave in their donations within the given deadline. Nevertheless, we deeply appreciate the donations given to us by every school. The results will now be announced by Amina and displayed on the projectors.
We would like to call upon our chief guest, Mr. Lee, on stage. In third place, we have the Colombo International School, Colombo. In second place, we have the British School of Colombo. And in first place, we have the Overseas School of Colombo.
Mr. Lee, please remain on stage. The next awards are the EXCO Awards.
I would like to request Mr. Jocelyn to the stage once again. Miss Jasmine will announce the EXCO Awards.
Sorry about that. I'll start off with the sponsorships. The best EXCO member sponsorships goes to Milo Printers. Thank you, EXCO. The next best EXCO member, IT Creativity, goes to, make a guess? Next guest, most committed and dedicated EXCO member. Another guest, Delegation. And this is the last EXCO award, and that happens to be the one for chair, the best EXCO chair. Goes to Rishen Dasar.
Thank you, Miss Jasmine. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Thank you, Mr. Jocelyn. We are almost at the conclusion of the closing ceremony. this is where we wrap the hours. The Undersecretary General will give the vote of thanks.
The COMUN 2019 Exco would like to sincerely thank the following for their time, support and cooperation. The Overseas School of Colombo for hosting COMUN 2019 and their initiative to organize this event. Mr. Phil Jocelyn, head of the School of the Overseas School of Colombo, for his support and guidance. Ms. Claire McQuillan, head of the Secondary School of the Overseas School of Colombo, for her encouragement and assistance. The COMUN faculty advisor, Ms. Jasmine Bhattacharjee. Thank you for your endless support, understanding and encouragement. This conference would not have been a success without your tireless efforts. The OSC admin, security, and Ms. Gayani and Mr. Kulataratna. We would also like to thank all the participating schools, students, and international students who helped to make this conference memorable. Also, please rise the faculty advisors and student coordinators from all the participating schools for all your support. We would also like to thank Silman Lakeside and Mr. Priyanta. And of course the COMUN 2019 administrative staff and tech team for all their support throughout the conference. Finally, all others who contributed to making COMUN 2019 a memorable success.
Thank you, Undersecretary General. We now call upon the Secretary General to close the session.
First of all, how can I follow Jeevan? Can we give him another round of applause, please? I started writing this speech like a week ago, and now it just doesn't seem accurate, you know. So much has happened over the last 3 days that has brought everybody in this room closer together, and that just would not cut it. So let me just start off with a whole bunch of thank yous. I don't really have a fear of public speaking. It's like second nature by now, but I really have a very pressing fear of goodbyes, and this is my last conference. And first of all, to my exco, thank you so much. You guys, I love you all so much. Best exco I've been a part of. We made some amazing memories together. I will never forget each and every one of you. A very special place in my heart. Number two. Can we all please rise and give a hip hip hooray to Miss Jasmine? She completely deserves it. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Miss Jasmine, thank you so much for everything you have done for us, Miss. You made this conference possible. You are the driving force behind everyone, behind COMUN. And we love you, Miss. From the bottom of our hearts. The platform party, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Come and be here with us. It really made us feel special. Mr. Lee, your words are incredibly inspirational, especially to me. You hit me with that engineering part, you know. Right there, hit me. Oh man. My sec, Jeevanta, Mandri, Virat, will you please stand up? Can you please give them a round of applause? When I opened session 3 days ago, I asked that all of you here be the best delegates that we've ever seen. Because we put on the best conference that we've tried to give you. And wow, you all really came through. Let me tell you that after 3 days of incredibly intense debate and that last crisis, you all really blew me away, guys. Please give yourself a massive round of applause. A huge thank you from all of us in the expo. You really made us proud. To all of those in the audience who have started my MUL journey with me, who end my MUL journey with me, you know who you are. I love all of you. You have been there right from the start, and you will always be very special to me. You know who you are. Definitely. My school, thank you so much for my school. Thank you so much for the opportunity, for giving me the opportunity to take part in such an incredible event like this. Mr. Howard, thank you for pushing for MUL in our school. Miss Mom, thank you. Thank you for everything. Yes, without you, I would not be here. Not at all. My family sitting in the front row, Mama, Dada, Mama. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for putting up with the crazy plans, you know, the wild endeavors that we never really planned out, but it just turns out really well, you know? Give me it all. It turned out so well, right? I mean, how can you ever say enough goodbyes, right? It's been an incredible honor for me to travel this journey with all of you all. Thank you for being a part of my last conference. I hope we made you proud. If we made you proud, please give the Exco a huge, huge round of applause for all the work they've done. Thank you so much. And this is where I say boss man, or whatever you want to call me. Thank you very much. Really, thank you. You know, I don't want to do this. You know what comes next, I guess. Do I do it or not? Do I do it? They do it. It really kills me. It really kills me to do it, but while power vested in me as Secretary General of COMUN 2019, it has been my pleasure, my sadness and my absolute honor to stand with y'all and end with y'all. I declare this session closed.
Please remain on stage. We would like the chief guests, the faculty advisors, parents, to be led out by the Undersecretary General to head out to the lawn for refreshments. Delegates, please remain in your seats. Delegates, please remain in your seats. We do have something else. May I please request that the guests of honor please move out of the auditorium fast. We will now have the COMUN 29 delegate videos.
FP party, as well as a new app. Alright, let's play the video.
Guys, did you enjoy the video?
Yeah, we'll do it.
We're gonna just put the thing in the air now.
Do we have to?
Yeah, man, he's gonna get mad.
Fine. Wait. COMUN 2019. Doesn't even look good. I think our tech team deserves an incredible round of applause for that. Our tech gods! Please, round of applause. Three cheers, one of them, please. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Oh, come! Tech gods team. Tech gods, these guys are tech gods. Yes, let's take pictures. Oh.
Okay guys, can we take a quick selfie with my great camera?
Delegates, we truly hope you have enjoyed this conference. We will see you again soon.